I'm back from an amazing trip to Slovenia. When most people hear Slovenia, though, their first thought is probably, wait, where is that? And their second thought usually isn't the food. So today, I wanted to show you some of the surprisingly diverse foods that I ended up eating while I was there. Some traditional, and some not so traditional. Starting with my first meal, this restaurant, Figovets, in the capital city of Ljubljana, boasts many great traditional Slovenian dishes. My starter was, of course, one of the most famous dishes in Slovenia, štruklje, which is a rolled pasta-like dumpling that is filled with either savory or sweet fillings. This one was cheese-filled and came with a wild garlic sauce on top. My main course was the Ljubljanska obrek, which was a fried pork loin with ham and a creamy cheese sauce on top. The side is roasted potatoes with cracklings. Next, we go to another spot in downtown Ljubljana, Klobasarna, which has a limited menu that focuses on two very traditional Slovenian foods, najlico, which are soups and stews, and Kranjska klobasa, which are basically the national sausage of Slovenia. You can order them separately or together. I got them together, obviously. For my soup, I chose jota, a tangy soup which has sauerkraut, beans, potatoes, and smoked pork, which was much more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. For my next meal, I drove out to Šmartno to a recommendation from my Airbnb host, Gostilna Grad, a local pub with many classic comfort foods. There are not many tables in this place at all, so you may want to get a reservation. I ordered their signature dish, the fried chicken, which was really flavorful and had a unique breading to it, almost like a cornmeal fish fry sort of coating, and a side of potato logs. The service was fantastic here, and I would absolutely highly recommend the food. Not everything I ate, though, was traditional or even Slovenian. I had lunch one day at this little Italian sandwich shop in Ljubljana called Pronto. I had the diavola sandwich, which had a spicy salami, scamorza cheese, tomato, arugula, and some sort of sauce on focaccia bread. I thought the sandwich was just okay, but I do think it is fairly authentically Italian considering that we are only a short drive away from Italy. I had dinner that night at the sister restaurant of Figovets, this one called Ljubljančanka, located right in the heart of the historic district of Ljubljana. It was here that I experienced one of my favorite meals of the whole trip, Idrijski Žlikrofi, which is a traditional Slovenian potato dumpling similar to a pierogi with a beef ragu over the top. Really, really good. You absolutely need to get this dish if you are visiting Slovenia. Many other restaurants offer this dish as well. The next day, I visited the Postojna caves, which I will have a video about soon on my channel for you to check out. While there, I ate at the Brilliant restaurant, which is their cafeteria-style food service in the cave's main building. I had their roast pork dinner, which included mashed potatoes and veggies. I wasn't in love with the overcooked veggies, and the potatoes were just okay. However, the pork roast was quite good. Back in Ljubljana, there was a little bakery called Mlinar right by my Airbnb, which I found out is actually a chain of bakeries throughout the Adriatic region, kind of like how Greggs is in the UK. I tried a local food called a burek, which is a flaky, savory pastry filled with either a cheese or meat filling. I got their cottage cheese-filled burek. I always enjoy trying new-to-me items, and this one was no different. Also, in the historic district of Ljubljana is Marley and Me, a small restaurant that I am genuinely surprised was not busier than it was. For a while, I had the place to myself, and they gave me the window seat. For a starter, I had their Slovenian board, which included an assortment of local meats, cheeses, and walnuts, as well as pumpkin seed oil, which is a locally enjoyed specialty. I then got the goulash and dumplings for my main course. Overall, it was a great meal with friendly service yet again. The next day, I drove up to Bled, which is an incredible little tourist town by a beautiful lake. While touring the castle, which you can see all about in another of my recent videos, I stopped at their little cafe and got the famous Bled cream cake. This is found all over Slovenia now, but originated in Bled. It is a puff pastry on the top and bottom, a thick vanilla custard, a layer of whipped cream, and all dusted with powdered sugar. Slovenians are proud of this dessert. For lunch in Bled, I went to a burger shop called Mega Burger that had incredible reviews online. One review even said that their burger was life-changing. Needless to say, I had high expectations. I got the double mega burger, which came with bacon, cheddar, pickles, lettuce, tomato, and barbecue sauce. It also came with these interesting crescent-shaped fries. Not bad, but it certainly wasn't life-changing like the review stated. One of my favorite things that I did on my trip to Slovenia was to visit the weekly open-air food market that they do in the Central Market Square called Open Kitchen. Wow, this was incredible. So many food booths of all kinds to choose from. A DJ was pumping out music on the steps. So many people just outside relaxing and enjoying the festivities. Throughout the day, I found myself going back to try something new multiple times. Here are some of the things that I got there. I first got a very Americanized item that was not very American in how it actually came out. These crazy pig fries came with pulled pork, barbecue sauce, cheddar sauce, pickled cucumbers, fried onions, and parsley. Later in the day, I had to try a sweet version of the štruklje before leaving Slovenia, so I got a raspberry with white chocolate version, and I enjoyed this much more than the savory version. It tasted almost like rolled up raspberry crepes and a nice subtle sweetness from the white chocolate. I never would have thought of dessert dumplings even existing, but these were really, really good. For my main meal, I also had one more round of Idrijski Žlikrofi, this time with a cheesy cream sauce and walnuts. For my final meal in Slovenia, I kept with a tradition that I have while traveling internationally. I always end my trip with a pizza. It's fascinating how different pizzas are in different parts of the world. This little pizza place, Pizzeria Piramida, had what translates to a rustic pizza, which had cheese, pepperoni, ham, bacon, onion, and chopped garlic and olive oil on top. It was very different from the pizzas I have had other places in a very good way. I would highly recommend it and would get it again. Although I still have no idea why my waitress brought ketchup to my table, other than just because I'm an American. Let me know which of these dishes you'd like to try in the comments. We'll see you next time, somewhere else, down the road.